Hey all, Kendra here. I'm back with part 2 of the vlog with Leah and Shawn. So we are going to talk about the second half of This Must Be the Place by Maggie O'Farrell. Don't worry, we will do our best to avoid spoilers. And if there are spoilers, we will let you know beforehand. But I'm really excited to talk about it. I saw so many more new things in this book. So, for the vlog section, I actually have some footage of my favorite miniature golf place that I have ever been to, and that is Mount Atlanticus. And the entire theme of the miniature golf course is based on Atlantis, really. So you're running around, and there's a Greek mythology, and it's just really beautiful. And well done as far as miniature golf courses go, and there are several stories, I think 4 or 5, so it's pretty cool. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed golfing there. How do they live in there? Got this one. You just got a hole in one. How do you feel, Samuel?
I think it hurt my ankle.
Oh man. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It's pretty weird, right? Like it's like the Kendra place for miniature golf. I love miniature golf. I grew up going to the beach and playing miniature golf, and I just thought it was great. So Samuel and I played 4 rounds of miniature golf, and we each won one. I mean, won on each course. Did that make sense? No. So we each won 2 of the 4. And then, so as a tiebreaker, who had the most hole-in-ones won, which was me. Then we went to stroke count, and I won by 1 stroke less than he had. So that was pretty exciting, but as one who is terrible at any sort of kind of sports, I'll take this as it's not really a sport, but it's close enough. Anyway, we're here to talk about the book. So This Must Be the Place, second half of This Must Be the Place. This is Maggie O'Farrell's, I think, longest novel to date. But you see why. It's told in many different sections. And when we left Daniel and his family, he was figuring out his life. Let's just put it that way. And trying to understand a little bit about himself. What's interesting about this book is, what Shawn asked in the last video about This Must Be the Place, the title. I, being me, had to outline the book. And so the phrase, this must be the place, is centered almost in the center of the book, a little in the second half. And it's about his home in Ireland with his wife. And that is one of the most recurring settings in the book, even though it's set all over the world. So that's something that I just really enjoyed, this idea of a place being like the center of the story, the center of Daniel's life. And I think the conclusion goes towards that direction. Now, I can't say anything else about it, of course. That would be indeed a spoiler, but I just love what she did. It's amazing. The second half of the book includes some of the most heartrending sections of the book, and I just I don't know, Shawn was sending us back some messages of like just a few words referencing like things that happened in the book, and we're like sending him gifs of like, they're there, it's okay. But that's really what you have to do. You need emotional support for this book, because near the end it's just so sad, but it all works. I don't feel like it's overdone. I think that she did a very good job of plotting out this. And Daniel as a character is very interesting, especially as he grows as a character throughout the story. And at first when we meet him, especially when we meet him in first person, we hear the tone of his voice and we get to know him that way. And he seems perfectly fine. And then as we get to know him, we understand that there's way more to this character than we ever thought, because we're getting different views of him from several different characters. And I just love it when an author does that. They back away from the first person narration. I'm so excited I can't talk. And they look at him from different perspectives. And it's, Maggie Farrell is just so good, guys. So anyway, I know the camera's going everywhere because I'm just so excited about this. Anyway, I will stop gushing and say that I just love this book. It's 5 stars again, second time through. And next I will be heading towards Instructions for a Heat Wave, and I'm really excited. So if you guys want to buddy read Instructions for a Heat Wave, I'm all here for that. So just saying. Anyway, so I answered Shawn's question. So my question is for Leah, and my question for Leah is, how do you think all of the different sections and the conclusions of the different characters' stories work in the second half? And what did you think of Daniel's journey, we'll just say as a whole, as he grew as a character and developed, getting closer to the end of the story? I'm using such vague terms, but Leah, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. So I will let her take it away.
Wow, just wow. Thank you for sharing the amazing Maggie O'Farrell with me, Shawn and Kendra. I've had so much fun doing this buddy read. There was so many amazing ideas through into here, but it was the compelling nature of the story. All these rather seemingly disparate connections, these people who just flit in and out of one another's lives, gelled together, create a story that was simultaneously compelling, yet soft and gentle and understated. It really was amazing. You can only have your first O'Farrell once. Wow. I'm just looking forward to going back through her back catalogue to see what other gems I can find. I think, as we discussed in our first vlog, and we've discussed offline as well, it's the language that keeps drawing us back, each of the unique and individual voices. How Claudette uses French as her secret language between her family, how Daniel has his Americanisms, but he's a displaced Brit and he does tend to sound more British than American, and I loved all those different nuances within the story. The one big thing, the great regret, which I won't spoil, and spoilers are such a funny thing on BookTube, aren't they? I'm not going to spoil, but the one regret of Daniel's life and how that consistently and completely impacts every facet of his life. And I guess that's my question to you, Shawn. Is Daniel always trying to save others, but perhaps neglecting himself? It's indicated through a number of different people he meets along the way. I really like the discussion of family through into here. The family that you're born into and the one that perhaps you might not fit into, yet the family you create yourself, and how those different relationships form who you are. I really also like Daniel's chameleon ability, I guess I'm calling it, how he could slot right into his university flatmates in Britain after coming as an American and perhaps an outsider there, how he could slip into Claudette's already existing family and to make it grow. And that chameleon-like nature is such an interesting character, and again I guess that comes back to his survival method, his ability to make others feel loved, others feel part of his family, yet he tends to isolate himself. But thank you, Shawn and Kendra, for sharing this journey. Kendra, I'm so pushing in on your buddy read with Jen from Insert Literary Pun on more Maggie O'Farrell. I'm just barging in on that because I have no shame, because I want to read more. I want to read more Maggie O'Farrell. But thank you guys. I look forward to our next buddy read. What are we doing? I'll insert a little bit of footage around this video of things I've been doing in the last few days, but I hope you enjoy it. So after all the dog talk from last video, I thought I would introduce Martha Jones, perhaps the most antisocial cat in the world, but not all cats antisocial. So yes, this is our wonderful Martha Jones, surprisingly cuddly in the cold weather. Here she is making her feelings known as to why she doesn't want us to go away for the weekend and installing herself quite neatly into my suitcase. But yes, she did stay at home. So that is Martha Jones, our cat. I thought I'd quickly show you some footage of my local library and art gallery. One of my dearest friends is the curator of the art gallery, and her passion and her study is on street art. So this is her favourite piece of work, and yes, that's Massive Penis in Peel Street. So just a bit more of the streetscape there. This is our road to Sydney when we were driving down for the weekend, and see those wonderful, wonderful storm clouds, and note the dry land on the side. No rain. No rain.
Oh, so freaking beautiful. I think I can go over there. there. Because there was no high buildings, and now so many high buildings around there, so it's difficult to see the tower, even though there is no long distance, no respect with the tower. That's the difference. What a great place to sit down and do my vlog. I even got a little stand for my laptop. Hello again, BookTube. Here I am with my final thoughts on This Must Be the Place by Maggie O'Farrell. And what a gorgeous setting. I don't know much to say. This was a 5-star read for me, despite a few flaws that didn't interfere at all with me absolutely loving it. I had some more major qualms, perhaps, at the end of the first half, that some of which disappeared completely. For example, now I loved the protagonist, Daniel, and I wasn't sure I liked him at all very much by the halfway point, and others just shrunk down to be inconsequential in terms of my love for this book. Let me talk about Leah's question. She asked me whether Daniel was too busy saving other people, and that was his problem. So, yes, I think he was a wounded healer, if I can use that archetype. Carl Jung talked about the wounded healer, and it's an archetype that, as much as I'm not really into archetypes, I relate to. We certainly related to a lot in my 20s and 30s. And so, yes, I saw that in Daniel, and I think, as Jung said, I can't believe I'm quoting Jung. Jung said it's a hero's journey to move through that and love yourself as well as other people, because you can't really love anybody else until you love yourself. So that was basically Daniel's journey, and I thought it was just so beautifully told and not hokey. I'm allergic to hokey sentiment in literature, and it wasn't here. And I was very moved several times, and was, as Kendra already told on me, that I was sending these emotional little tweets about, not tweets, but Voxer messages about things that were really moving me. So yeah, it's extremely moving, and just brilliantly plotted, just intricate, but yet so simple by the time you get to the end about human connection. So in closing, a couple more general observations. This novel is about disappearing, about disappearance, about disappearances. The main female character, Claudette, does a major disappearing act. I won't say any more about that. So does Daniel at various points. And I think that is a... can I say this? O'Farrellian theme. Can we make a... Dickensian, Orwellian, O'Farrellian. I'm not sure, but it's an O'Farrellian theme. Disappearance, having read and loved an earlier novel of hers called The Vanishing Act of Esme Lennox. And the other one, which is kind of almost the flip side, which is this novel is about how delicate, fragile, and transitory are those moments when two people might connect or might not connect, and how a lifetime of consequence, tragic, joyous, libidinous, hilarious, can flow from those connections and missed connections. This novel explores that in such an intricately simple O'Farrellian way. I absolutely loved it. I recommend it highly. That's it. Thanks for watching.